and also, too, you may be asked to provide testimony either at a deposition or during mediation or arbitration or during a trial. And David and I have had some great conversations about what usually happens or what insureds expect or don't expect and some of the things that go on. And David, you want to talk a little bit about,
Yeah, it's a totally scary process to be at a deposition. Even the name of it conjures up all these images of, people in shackles and the like. I mean, it's just the name. But I think you do your best when you will be prepared by your defense counsel, and you should know at all points. And always keep in mind, you really are in control. There's a lawyer who is on the other side asking you questions that might try to intimidate you. And I think, as with anything, you can take it as a little bit of a game or a contest where you're not going to let that person get to you. You're not going to kind of go rogue or get adversarial. Your job is to answer the questions asked. And I use way too many analogies and way too many sports analogies, but if you follow me with this, and in baseball the kind of the dying art of a game of pepper, and for those who might not know, a game of pepper in baseball, it warms you up to bat, and you have a person standing 2 or 3 feet away from you tossing underhand the ball, and you have a bat in your hand, and all you're trying to do is tap the ball back to the person who tosses it to you underhand. So it's a game that can last for as long as you want. It's a soft toss to you as the batter, and you as the batter tap it back to the person, and so on. So in a deposition, if you see it as a game of pepper, it's a lot easier. If the lawyer asks you, do you know what time it is? Yes, I do. What time is it? 3 o'clock. All you're doing is you're not being cute or coy. You're answering the questions asked. You need not win the deposition. You know the information. They're trying to get it from you. All you have to do is answer honestly those questions. So if you keep these mental images of you being in control and you playing a game of pepper, and you don't need to win or score points, we'll score points ourselves because we know what the testimony is. The deposition is we play the game, and then we go home and we tell our significant others how much fun we had.
Well, I think that's a very important point, and I tell people this all the time myself, is just answer the question asked. And I think as design professionals, we're just geared towards wanting to be as helpful as possible. So when you ask me a question, I want to tell you as much as I possibly know, because I want to be helpful. As you said, you're not being coy, you're not being difficult. They're going to the other extreme. But it's when you start going down that road is when you can really open yourself up to the possibility of saying something that literally could come back to haunt you later on. So, just focus on, and David is a great example. I love it. And I think you also stressed, too, which is very good, is you're not being coy, you're not being difficult. Their job is to ask you the right question. Your job is to answer the question that they asked. You don't need to elaborate. And I think one of the other things, too, is don't get defensive. All of a sudden you can see a lot of questions, and all of a sudden you feel like, well, they're going to be pointing the finger at me, and therefore I need to defend myself. I need to answer more. I need to be clear.
True, Mr. Jones, that you failed to call out any flashing for those windows. And that's going to get you mad. You're a professional, and you have to take, 3 seconds and then answer. No, you look, no.
That's it. I would just say no. That's kind of, I wouldn't even go any further, just no.
Exactly.
So, but that's the human nature in us, but I think even more so with design professionals, because we want so desperately to be helpful and to be cooperative and that type of thing. But in this situation, you really need to just, as the game of pepper, just answer the question. And again, this is where we talked in earlier on about if you have a pre-claim, you've been asked to be deposed, not even a claim involving you. The same sort of thing can play out, and this is where a claim specialist, and they may even have an attorney come in to tell you this is what you should expect and this is what you should do. And as David mentioned, just take a deep breath and then answer the question, no, and let them take it from there. So very good example.